Right angles, throws, and kicks, oh my. Prepare to dive into this week's combo. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, bringing you poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I am diving into another one of the combos from my Bad Liar Flow video from a couple weeks back. This one is actually the combo that starts off the entire thing, so let's check that out. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. So this combo is rare in that I basically improvised it on the spot as I was shooting that video. Normally I have like 2 or 3 combos that I walk into it with, and I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to pull them out, but I at least know that I'm going to hit them. This one, right from that first take, was just like, okay, what can I do to make this intro more interesting? And I came up with that kind of funky right angle thing that starts it off and everything, and that wound up being kind of like the root that made the rest of the pieces come together. There are so many mosquitoes out today. I'm getting eaten alive. So to get down this week's combo, you're going to want the following tricks under your belt. You'll want to know how to do a hands together cap. You're also going to want to have a good grasp on your stalls. You'll want to be able to do a windmill as well as isolated throws. You can find links to tutorials I've done on all these different tricks down in the description or up in the cards if you happen to be watching this on YouTube. I'm going to show you the combo at full speed, take you through it piece by piece, and then show it to you again in slow motion. All right, so those of you who watched that flow video may have noticed that I'm starting this off slightly differently than I did in that video. Namely, so in the video, I'm starting from this position right here, which is totally meant to be an homage to Avatar: The Last Airbender and Sokka doing his little thing about cactus juice and saying it's the Quenchiest and everything. There's a reference to it in the Dragon Prince as well, and just I was looking for a shape to start things off with and everything. I'm like, oh, I'll do some Sokka here. If you want to start it off that way, you're welcome to. You don't have to. Otherwise, you just have the poi wrapped up in your hands to start with. And what you're going to do is you're going to unwrap the poi, and boom, that is your cue to kind of find yourself in this place where your focus is down and your stance is kind of spread out and everything, right? Now, to get this thing started, what you're going to do is you're actually going to take a high arch on your right foot, and that's going to lean your entire body over to your left. Now, in theory, this should happen in such a way that your left hand poi drops down a little, and your right hand should come over to meet it, and you wind up with your right hand poi doing a pendulum. Which is a good time to talk about this weird little stacking thing that I'm doing right here, which the best way I can describe this is like an inverted stall. Let me show you what I mean here. So normally when I do stalls off of a pendulum, boom, they wind up being point isolation stalls like that. This is somewhat different. Rather than bringing the tether up above the poi head, I'm instead letting the poi head drop and carrying my hand directly over it. This is analogous to the exact same thing that happens when we do a downstall here. The only difference is that we're doing it off of a pendulum. So I'm just sliding my hand over to that position where it's going to be directly above the poi head. Now, as you can see, I can reverse this by pulling my hand straight back and letting the poi just drop into that pendulum again. In fact, you can just practice this a little bit, going back and forth with the pendulum and dropping the poi head, boom, straight down, pulling your hand off to the side again and returning to the pendulum. Dropping, boom, straight down, pulling your hand back off to the side and starting back up the pendulum. Trick is when you do this with both hands at the same time. It results, boom, in this ability to kind of take this pattern from side to side, which I think looks really, really cool. And I had actually totally forgotten that this was a thing until I just randomly pulled it out while I was shooting the video and everything. But the key to this in terms of the body mechanics and everything is that whichever hand is doing the pendulum, you're going to take a forced high arch on that leg to tilt your body over to that side. So as I switch to doing the pendulum on my left, I take the forced arch off of my left foot, and that tilts me over to the right. Again, I switch, boom, back over by arching my right foot, and boom, I take the high arch on my left foot, going back and forth, right? So you want to kind of do this in such a fashion that you pull over to the left, and then the right, and then the left, and then the last time you do it, you're actually going to bring the left-hand poi around to stall right next to the right hand, yeah? Now through all this, you should be in a pretty low stance with your focus down. Like, you're studying the poi pretty intently as they do this. And by the way, I don't actually care how many pendulums you do as you're going back and forth like this and everything, but as you bring it to a close and everything, as you bring in your left hand down and everything, make sure that you sink your stance just a little bit more, yeah? Okay, so our next move is to just explode out of this with a windmill, like so. Basically, it's intended to be a shape that takes us up into a very high place here and everything. You only need to do one of them, but what you're going to do is, as your right-hand poi is coming down and around like this and everything, you're going to give yourself a little isolated throw over to the side here. You can practice this just by doing an extension, and boom, as the momentum kind of conks out, almost like you would do a pendulum over here on the side and everything, boom, you're going to go ahead and do a little isolated throw. We're doing this as a horizontal throw rather than a vertical throw, right? Just because I think it looks cooler to do as a horizontal. So we wind up with boom, windmill, and boom. What happens is you take that throw, and it's almost like you're kind of like landing from flying and everything, where you're kind of taking a moment with the poi off to the side and everything, and flexing your knees as you come down, yeah? Okay, so we got there and it was fabulous. We flexed down. We're going to do a second pendulum, and now we're going to turn our body over to stage right here and everything, and I'm going to wind up in a wheel plane butterfly with my left hand poi going forwards, my right hand poi going reverse, and I'm going to do a hands together cap coming up and down. Now the trick here is it goes up, and as it comes down, boom, you want to kind of kick out with your left knee, almost like you're working against the momentum down and everything, which is what I think makes it look really cool. But basically, we go up, we go down, and as we come up again and everything, we separate our arms out into together opposites, and we kind of let the poi stall out to the sides. So from here, I'm doing the reverse of the thing that I almost always do when I switch into horizontal plane, which is that I start the poi movement, and that then guides my body movement. Instead, what I'm doing here is after I do the stall, I move my body, and that's what gets the poi moving around. And we finally stop with the poi wrapped around our body here and everything. So think of it as we go out, and I immediately step around, and that's what pulls the poi into this arrangement around myself, and that's what finishes off the combo, yeah? Okay, so all that from the top. I'm going to start from the Quenchiest, and then I'm going to let my poi out. Boom, I'm going to fall down low and take that high arch pendulum over to the right, over to the left, over to the right. They both come down, explode out into that windmill, and take the toss, recover. We do our cap, around, out, stop, and bring it in for a close, yeah? Cool, let's see that again in slow-mo. Amazing. So show me your quenchiest version of this combo on Instagram and use the hashtag DrexFactorPoi so I can come check it out and everything. I'm really curious to see how y'all do with this one and everything. If you want to, you can also get featured in my stories. Make sure to post your video to your stories and tag me. I am at DrexFactor on Instagram and everything. I will copy over your video into my own stories so I can share them with all of my viewers. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help other people find this video video and learn how to dance with me with their poi. And finally, a big thank you, because this video would not be possible without the kind contributions of these lovely folks right here. These are my wonderful supporters on Patreon, and they make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. If you are enjoying this work that I'm doing and would like to make sure that I can keep on creating these videos and everything, you can head on over to sign up at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. If you have the means, and I totally understand now of all times if you don't, but if you do, it would be much appreciated. You can get early access to all of my content, as well as a say in what topics I tackle in the future. Plus which, I post some cool extras and behind the scenes stuff on there every once in a while. So go check that out. Please and thank you. Cool, so I'm gonna put something out there to ask y'all. Do you have a particular trick you'd like to see me throw into a combo, a particular idea that you'd like to see me play with and everything? Let me know down in the comments, and you never know, it might inspire a combo in all of our futures here, yeah? Awesome, thanks so much for watching, and have yourselves a good one. Peace.